Alright, so again, welcome back here to this section, Python part 3. In this, we look at control flow. When I say control flow, what I mean by control flow is basically if loop, while loop, for loops, like how to write your if conditions, logical conditions, and for and while loops, which are optimized also. Okay, then we look at file management, how to read files and all, and then exception. These three topics we'll cover here, and then we have a complete demo on all, a complete tutorial demo on all of this. So let's start off with the control flow. Like in any languages, we have the if condition, which is like, if you want to place logical gates for your code, if first you have an if condition, then you have if else, like if you want if and then if you want else, something else to happen. Now, if you have multiple if conditions, you can also use if, elif, and else. Okay. And then we have for and while loops. For loops will always execute based on a range of values. While loop, again, you'll have to give the conditional value for the same. Okay, so now let's look at the if. If is pretty much like you say if x equal to 5. So if the x value of x is equal to 5, the syntax here is you give if, and then you got to give a colon. Okay, you got to give a colon and then indent, and then whatever logical steps you want to work on, code can go here. And then again you're going to check here. And the second one is an elif. So here what you're doing is if x equal to 5, we say print, then on tab, then again we come back here, we give something called as elif, and x equal to the second value. Okay, you can also have an else over here. So even the elif and else will have to end with a colon. Okay, so this is a basic if statement which is covered in detail in the code. The next one is we'll need to look at loops. Typical for generally for is an optimized for loop used most frequently for a range of values. So for here, imagine here, now look here, we have a list here, right? So here what we are doing here, we say for I in range length of list. So when we say length of list, it is going to return how much? It's going to return 5. So this is going to happen 5 times. So it's going to print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 because the index starts with 0. Okay. But what it is going to print, sorry, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because even though index starts with 0, it will do like for 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the value of which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now again, if you now another way to write a for is you directly say how many times you want to run it. If you say range 0 to 10, it will run 10 times. So you don't have to initialize this variable, you don't have to increment the variable, nothing of that sort in the for loop. Now the format of a simple while loop. How does a simple while loop work? So basically you'll have to initialize and say like two conditions. Now let's say I is less than m. Now you want to print a value I. So this is going to keep on increment 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So once it reaches 4, it is going to stop. Couple of things you can do is you can add a break over here. If you add a break, it will completely exit the loop and not go back. Continue, what it will do is if you give the continue say here, it is going to stop execution of the loop at that point and go back to the condition over here. So the key difference will break will execute and continue will make the code go back to the loop condition, and the rest of the lines will not be executed. But if the next condition matches, it will execute. Again, while is covered in detail in the tutorial, next video tutorial, where we do the hands-on coding. Okay. In the file IO, the files can be read in Python. You can also read write files. Okay. File is read write is extremely easy in file. It works in all modes, including binary. So you can work with exe, images, everything. Okay. So you have to use the OS module. Now here what happens is you have to start using modules in Python. Libraries say that there are a lot of Python libraries which are out of the box, so which is available. So you say import OS module, and you have to give the file pointer, which is say f is equal to open, file name, comma, the mode in which it runs, whether it is read, write, append. Okay. So as usual, we have the detailed video on this as to how to run this. But the basic concept you need to know, like the file IO uses OS module, and you can open it in various modes. So let's look at the various modes that are available. A whole range of modes are available: reads, read only, read binary format, write. If you want to write to a file, opens in write, overwrites the file, previously exists. If you want binary format, if you want to do both, read and write. Different from the sense that it overwrites the previous file if one exists, whereas R plus doesn't overwrite, it creates a new file if no file exists. But even though it will point it to the beginning of the file, it will not overwrite the file. So these are the various modes you have. If you want to append to a file, you will have to give A. Also, we have exception handling, right? Now, why do we need we can make certain mistakes while they were programming. The Python program, as soon as if you don't handle the error, if it comes across a runtime error or something, logical error or something, it will exit. So there are two types. One is syntax error. You could have written something wrong, which gets caught in compilation, and the second one is logical error, which could be like 2 divided by 0 divide or invalid null value or something. You're not covered. It file does not exist. So basically, you'll have to use try catch block like in any other programming language to handle it.